So here we are again, and I'm so grateful. I am so thankful to be with you today. You know, Thanksgiving just happened. And, you know, we're supposed to give thanks in all things, but sometimes we just forget to do that, don't we? But we do need to do that because it changes our heart, doesn't it? It changes our minds. It changes our heart. And we do, no matter where we are, no matter what is going on, we can find things to be thankful for. I know we can. You know, there's been times when I've talked to people and I'm listening to their struggles and listening to what's going on in their lives, and they'll say, but I can't do that. I can't do that. And I'll say, well, what can you do? Let's focus on what you can do. Let's not focus on what we can't do and what we don't have control over. Let's focus on what we can do. And isn't that true in all things? He says, ask, seek, knock, and he'll be there and he'll open the door and he'll give us what we need. In his time, not in ours always. Well, I have a guest today, and to go back on this guest, as far as, you know, how I met her and what I know about her, as I get to know her and as you get to know her, you're going to find that her heart and her spirit is just so wonderful and warm and friendly and loving. And she's been through a lot, as most of us have. But sometimes when we hear someone else's story, it just kind of lifts us up, doesn't it? To know that we're not out in this world all by ourselves, that we're not isolated, that we don't have to go through these struggles by ourselves. And Kelly, what she's going to tell you is she's going to say, you know, when you think that you do everything right, you just have everything in place, you're doing everything the way you think, bad things can still happen. And what do we do in times like that? So I want to welcome right now Kelly Bryan. Welcome on the show.
Hello, good to be here.
It is so good to have you. And you are very pregnant right now.
Yes, very much so.
Yes. And we are on the radio, but we're also filming for the Sue Fries TV show. So we're doing 2 in 1. How about that? We're very efficient today, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes. So Kelly, I met you, I don't even know exactly when I met you. I know of you because of your dancing, the country scene and dancing, and you're just a wonderful dancer.
Well, thank you.
Cutest smile. See, you're going to have to watch the TV show just to see her and how pregnant she is and how she's glowing in her pregnancy. Anyway, I've known of Kelly and I've seen her on the dance floor and I've met her husband, and it's just been wonderful to see her on the floor, off the floor, and just how she is. And we went to Stagecoach this last year, and it was my first time being there, and what a wild place that is. But it was really a lot of fun. And Kelly was there with her husband, and they performed, and it was wonderful to watch. And she actually helped us with choreography. She came on her own time, sacrificed time, which none of us have enough of that. And she helped us with just those little things that can make such a big difference in performing. And I just thank you for that, taking time out.
Yeah, no, I love to help people, and I love dance, so
Yes.
That was fun for me too.
Absolutely. So as we've talked, it's been in passing, getting dressed, you know, changing things, and just in passing or waiting for time to go on, I got a little tidbit of her story. And I love hearing people's stories because everybody has one. You have one, I have one, we all have one. And it's interesting when we share our stories how it can really help other people. And we don't even realize the impact we can have by just being vulnerable, transparent with our stories with other people. And maybe that's what we need to do just right now, you know, when you meet people, and don't hide your story. Tell people your story and ask people to share their stories with you. Because I can tell you, it's amazing what you find out. So we're going to ask Kelly about her story, and she's going to get to share about the things that have happened in her lives and how she thought she was doing everything right and how it didn't exactly work out exactly the way you thought, did it?
Nope, not exactly. But I'm in a great place now. So
absolutely. Praise God. Praise God for that. So why don't you give a little background, Kelly? You know, I know that you're 30-something.
Yes.
All right. And I know that you're pregnant.
Yes.
So why don't you give the listeners a little more about who you are and where you are right now in life?
Okay, so as a background, I grew up locally in Chino, California. I was a dairy girl, and lived a good, nice upbringing in a kind of middle-class family. And I worked really hard at school. I ended up salutatorian in my class, Chino High School, and then went off to college. And that's where I felt like I really was making good decisions. I was on a full ride scholarship. I was still working, part to full time. I got straight A's through college with like 1 or 2 B's mixed in there. Graduated summa cum laude from UC Riverside with a degree in geology. I think I had $20,000 in the bank, no debt. I had found someone to start dating in that time and I felt like it was a really good relationship. We dated 3 years. And I saved myself for marriage. So all those things they say, go to college, get good grades, work hard, pick someone, date them for a while before you commit, and, save yourself for marriage is always a big thing that you hear.
Yes, absolutely.
And then coming out of college, going to grad school, just feeling like I really had made all of those good decisions. And fairly immediately after I got married, actually, I found myself in a very different place. And because I felt like marriage was a very serious thing, it wasn't something I was willing to back out on right away. I stuck with it and worked really hard through it, and things did not turn out the way that I had hoped. And I found myself kind of, to jump to the end, and I think we're going to explore the middle kind of throughout the course of the show.
Yes.
I found myself in my late 20s just very lost in that. And my now ex-husband ended up being arrested for like felony fraud. I was under investigation by the county for felony fraud. My name had been forged on all sorts of things. There were properties I didn't know about, things involving prostitution, strippers, just a lot of things that I was just completely unaware of. Money being borrowed from people that were very, very dangerous. At some point, I learned I was being followed by some basically like gang type, mobster type people parked outside my house, following me to work, just in a completely different place than I thought I was ever going to be in. I had made all the right decisions, and I still found myself like potentially being arrested every morning, going online to find out if I had a warrant out for my arrest. It was just an unreal few years.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yes.
I mean, I can't even imagine that. Here you are, you're doing everything right, and then you made a bad choice.
I did.
But you didn't know you made a bad choice. You thought you made a good choice.
Yes. And at least I should say, based on facts, I made a good choice.
Right.
There was that little thing inside me.
There was.
That told me something maybe wasn't quite right, but I'm a scientist.
Okay.
And so you try to write like the list down, and there was nothing I could put in the concrete, here's my fact column, why this is not a good idea. So then you just think that I'm just getting the jitters, or like the normal stuff that comes along with getting married and all those things.
Right. So you started second guessing that intuition, or whatever you want to call that, that little thing inside.
Yes.
That's saying something's not just lining up.
Yes.
But I can't put my finger on it.
Right. And anytime I would think, okay, I'm going to try to figure this out, nothing would like it all lined up factually. Right. There was just that little thing inside you. Right. And I've definitely learned to listen to that a lot more as I've gotten older.
So the message there is
trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
There's usually a reason why you're feeling that thing inside of you. You don't always need here's the fact that I can go to court with.
Right.
You just need your gut.
Yes.
And it's okay if other people don't understand that sometimes.
Right.
It's what you're feeling.
You know, there's people listening right now that's what they needed to hear. I mean, to not even go any further in the story or any further in the show, that's what they needed to hear. I know that. I can just feel that there's people that just needed to hear that. So we've already been successful for some listening right now. But I know there's other people that are listening going, okay, what's in there? What's in this for me? And I can guarantee you that by the time this show is done, there's going to be something in there that's going to help you. So I hope you stay tuned and listen throughout this entire show. And if you're tuning in right now, I just want to welcome you to the show. This is the Sue Fries Show. And if you want to connect with me, I hope you do. All you need to do is go to Sue Fries, spelled like fries, oneword.com. Go there, and there is so much there for you to gain. such as I have 8 years of podcasts, and you can listen to them at your leisure. You can listen to them anytime you want. You can go to iTunes, you can go to iHeart, you can go to SueFreeze.com, and you can click and you can go by the person I've interviewed, such as Kelly. You could go to subject matter or date. So there's 3 different ways you can locate what it is you're needing right now. And another thing I want to ask you to do is I want you to share this show, would you, with your friends and family, because I talk about different things every single week. And I have probably 50-50 male, female, and I have young and old. So no matter what age you are, no matter what gender you are, there is something here for you. And I just thank you so much for those that listen ongoing. For my mother-in-law, who's my biggest fan, I just thank you so much, Mom, for listening every single week and telling me what you think. I appreciate it so much, and I love you so much. So, Kelly, moving forward, let's keep going with the story. What happened next? I mean, what happened?
So basically all the building blocks crumbled, and it did coincide with the 2008 market crashing. You know, my ex-husband owned a business with a business partner. And so when all of that kind of fell apart, there were some things that surfaced, and I finally had my facts. And he was no longer able to kind of run from what he had been doing that was not ethical or moral or legal. So he found himself arrested and waiting to stand trial. I went to where he was living at the time and went through all of bags and bags of really garbage type stuff. And I found court orders for me to appear in court and all sorts of things that angry clients were suing me personally. And so that made me really start to dig. So I basically investigated myself to find out what was out there. And then through that, I got a much clearer picture of what had been happening in the previous few years. And then I went to work and tried to clean it all up. And I hired a lot of people to help me do that.
And so at this time, okay, you said 2008. You were married how long?
We got married in 1999.
Okay.
So it would have been 9 years.
9 years of mess.
Yeah.
That you had to clean up.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this time, you were around what age?
Late 20s.
Okay.
Is that about right? Yeah, early 30s. Yeah,
so,
late 20s.
So some people would call you a goody two-shoes when you were growing up, right?
For sure.
You would totally be that goody two-shoes, never do anything wrong, try to live life with no regrets.
I was
that type of person.
Rule follower.
Absolutely.
I don't jaywalk. I get nervous when, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
to the person that's got many, many warrants out for her arrest, supposed to appear at court, but you don't. Okay, so there's so many people and entities that are probably after you.
Yes, for sure. And I was getting calls at that point, at some point, like creditors catch up to you that I didn't even know I had.
Right.
Stuff I owed. And that was so confusing to me because I had never even carried a balance on a credit card.
Right.
And now, you know, I ultimately ended up filing bankruptcy for $1.something million.
Oh my goodness
it was,
gracious! I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was just.
Can you imagine? And you think you have problems?
Yeah, It was crazy. Yeah, it was at the court hearing. You get lumped with like 15 other people, and their little bankruptcy files were just a couple pages long each, and mine came up, and there was literally a thud that hit the table when the judge put it on the bench.
So how did you go about piece by piece getting this cleaned up? I mean, you had to, first of all, you had to figure out how much was out there.
Yeah. So step one was to get a good support system, and
Right.
that came in the form of my parents. So I moved
how wonderful.
back in with them. They were also afraid. They didn't want me to live alone. I could technically afford to have a place, but I wanted to have a good support system,
Right.
and they didn't want me to be
Right.
alone.
Parents being protective the way they're supposed to be.
Yes.
But that
So-
actually put them in a position of concern too.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they hadn't known what was really going on because I took my marriage vow very seriously. And I do think that oversharing with your parents about personal marriage, things can backfire sometimes.
Right.
And I think that you have to walk that line carefully of what you share and what you keep private.
Right.
Now I'm seeing that if you have a good marriage, there's not much you need to keep private is the difference.
Now there's another lesson right there. Did you hear that? Those of you that are trying to keep, it says to, husband and wives, you need to leave your mother and father and cleave.
Yes, absolutely.
That's in the Bible. But it means that if you have a functional, not a dysfunctional, but if you have a functional family, then there aren't secrets. There are not secrets. And yeah, you do have to keep some things private because it can backfire. But like you said, if you have a close family, then, you can talk about these things. In fact, you can get some answers maybe easier than trying to wing it all by yourself.
Yes, for sure. So step 1 was to get the support system. Step 2 was I needed to make a lot of money to hire the people that I was needing to hire. And my situation was obviously very extreme, but I sure was glad that I had the ability to do that. So I already had kind of a corporate type job. I was teaching for a couple different colleges because I'm crazy that way normally. But then I added, I happened to have my real estate license, so I started selling real estate on the weekends, and then got hired by this family to tutor their son in geology, and they paid me quite well for what I was doing. And all of that added together, I was working like a fiend because I couldn't solve my issues myself necessarily, but I could hire the right people. Right. So I had tax attorneys and bankruptcy attorneys and just general attorneys that were helping me to figure out next steps of researching like what had happened and what I needed to do. I had personal tax issues, business tax issues, properties I didn't know I kind of quote unquote owned, but to deal with all that stuff.
Right. So surrounding yourself with the people you need in order that support structure, and you don't know what you don't know, and what you don't know can hurt you, and so it's very important to surround yourself with people that do know what you don't know, so that you can get healthy again.
Yeah, mostly it was just I got a lot of really good advice from these people that said,
very nice.
What do I need to do right now? What are the steps to take? Right. And so I feel like within a year or so, I had pretty much put everything back. It wasn't in place, so like, okay, now I can just live a normal life, but I had all the building blocks there, and I knew what the next steps were, and I could just implement my plan instead of feeling like I was still trying to figure out what I was doing. But it took time.
Okay, so where did your strength come from, Kelly? Because, there had to be times when you just felt like, oh my gosh, this is way more than I can handle.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you must have been on overload.
I remember being right outside of my bedroom in the hallway just bawling one day because I just felt like, I don't know that I can do this. And I still get emotional over it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because it was just
everybody can see this.
Yeah, it was just one of those moments where you just feel like you might not have it in you.
Right.
But then you pick yourself back up again. And because you either let life happen to you or you proactively make choices and live a life that you've chosen.
Right.
And I've never been someone that just kind of sits around and goes, well, let's just see what happens. I think, while we don't have control over our lives, obviously, I think we do have the control over being able to make good decisions and setting yourself up so that good things can happen to you.
Correct.
So
there's another life lesson. Another life lesson right there. There's 3 golden nuggets, and I'm sure there's more in there, but there was 3 big ones there. So I hope you caught those, and those will be helpful, to people listening. And this is what I'm talking about sharing your story and letting other people feel you, know who you are and what you've been through, because it just makes people more connected. And I like connection. So connect with me, would you, by going to Sue Fries, spelled like fries, one word.com. Go on there. There is a site there where you put your information in there. If you have any need, if you need resources, if you need prayer, if you need a comment, if you just want to say you're liking what's going on or you wish I would do this, I will read them. I am the only one that reads them. So please send those to me and I will respond back to you. Okay? I really want you to do that. Connecting with me is really, really, I just want to connect with you. Okay. So on another note, when you go to Sue Fries, spelled like fries, one word.com, my son says that and he says it's so funny. I want you to go there, and when you go there, there is a section that says new affirmations or I ams. And the I ams are who God says you are. And when you go there, you print those. They're for free. Go there, print them out, and you read them every day. And you will be transformed by the renewing of your mind, because, there are a lot of people out there that will tell you things that are different than what God or the Bible will tell you. And so when God says you are victorious, even though Kelly, in the times when she's feeling like, I can't do this, this is way more than I can handle, there was something inside her that said, no, I'm going to get back up again. I'm going to brush myself off, and I'm just going to go for it. And I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do what I have to do, and I'm going to get it done. And that attitude that's in our spirit comes from somewhere. Okay. And for me, it comes from God. It comes from the Holy Spirit, and it helps me and strengthens me to get through the tough times. So, as a believer, we do have Christ to lean on and to trust, and you know that he's there. He never sleeps. He's there for you anytime, day or night, to pray to. And I don't know about you, but I need that. And does that make me weak? No. I think it makes me strong. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So, Kelly, we're close to mid time of the show, okay? And we'll go to a break, and then we'll come back for more. Okay? So, but before we do that, what would be the next stage? What is the next step in what happens next? Okay, you've got the lawyers, you're going through all of this. You had to identify everything that was going on, which I'm sure that took some time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There were a lot of details that we don't have time to talk about now, but it was, like I said, just crazy things going on that I would have never imagined would happen to
little old you.
Someone had made all the right decisions, right?
Yeah. Right. So good things good things happen to bad people, and bad things can happen to good people.
Yep.
Yes.
So at that point, actually, I think I was in a period of kind of waiting to see what was going to happen. I had all my ducks in a row. I was doing little things here and there to help with different parts that I needed to kind of fix. But I really think there are moments that it's like a David and Goliath type moment where you have to go out there and fight with the tools that you're given, albeit maybe small sometimes.
Yes.
And then there are Daniel in the lion's den moments where you have to have faith that things are going to work out. You've done the preparation that you need to do, and then you just have to wait and be patient. And I think some things just take time. My bankruptcy took time. My divorce took time. There were things that just took time. And so it really was a period of waiting. And I don't feel weak for doing that. That was just what was there's nothing else I could do.
Right.
It was just waiting and then letting myself kind of heal a little bit as well in that time.
So identifying all the issues that you're facing. It goes for anyone in any situation. You identify the problem, figure out the different solutions, because there's more than one. And then you do your part, be prepared, get the knowledge, do what you can do, and then maybe it's waiting.
Yep.
Okay? And so that's for all of us. No matter what you're facing right now, those are the keys that you need to do in order to get the results. But do your part. What was it you said before we got on? You were talking about the shovel.
Oh, yes. So I can get frustrated sometimes because people have an issue ahead of them, something that they're dealing with. And like they say, okay, I need a hole dug here. And say, okay, God, I need this hole dug. And God hands you a shovel. And some people use that shovel to dig the hole. And some people just keep praying, going, gee, I really need this hole dug here. So you have to identify those moments where you've been given the tool, you've been given the shovel, make the hole, make it appear, you can do it. So I'm a firm believer in if you've been given the tools, use them. But like I said, sometimes there are times where you have to just sit and wait.
You do all you can do.
Yep.
Whatever's in your control.
Exactly.
And then you have to just wait.
But if you've been given the shovel, better
dig
start using it. Yeah.
So we're reaching the end of the show. We have about 4 minutes left. So I just want to hand the mic over, and I know that's putting pressure on you. But you have no trouble talking, and you have such a heart that I would like for you to share with the listeners your heart, if you could. Is that okay?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want me to lead you anymore, I can try, but I think that you've got it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, then go for it.
All right. So I'm happy that I got to be here today. It's thank you very much. One of the things that I'm hopeful for is that my experiences can help other people. And I've tried to get my message across in small groups, just one-on-one with friends or people that I can see need some kind of help or encouragement. And I've also shared this message with bigger groups, and it makes me feel like it's worth it and that I'm helping people and that God has allowed me to help people when I can speak to small groups or larger groups, and I can see on their faces that something is registering. Specifically with one group in particular, when I talked about the red flag warnings, I could see like literally half of that group of 80 or 90, them just light up like, wow, that I'm dealing with that right now. Mm-hmm. And just knowing that maybe even one person is being affected by my story makes me feel like it's worth it. And I think it's important that sometimes when we're in the middle of something, we're not in a place to share, and that's okay. But I think sharing these things either during or after whatever your journey is helpful to other people. Mm-hmm. And we try to paint these Facebook perfect lives where we only post the pictures of our happy times, and there's some sad ones in there too. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. And I remember walking at the mall by my house thinking, I want to be anyone else here, because I had such just a burden of what was going on me. And now I realized that everybody has their story. Everybody has these things going on. And it's important that we support each other and love each other and share with people, so people don't think that we have this Facebook perfect life all the time. And so that's important to me, that people share and support each other and see that it really is, you can make all the right decisions, but there are things out of our control, and you do the best that you can with the tools that you have to help get out of those things.
That's awesome. A question came to me, and we only have a few seconds here, but I want to ask you this question. We have 1 minute. You made a bad choice in your first husband.
Yep.
I mean, he wasn't who you thought he was.
Correct.
So there are a lot of women out there that want to get married, but they're concerned, or they feel like they're worried they're going to make a wrong choice, that they're going to make the wrong choice. And this is a lifetime decision.
Yep.
What would you say to them?
I would say wait. If you're having that feeling, wait.
Don't get married.
Don't get married until
sure.
you, and don't ignore the red flags. That's the big one. And just wait. You can always get married the next year.
Right. There's no hurry.
There's no hurry.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Okay. That's awesome. I know some people right now that are concerned about that. So that's really good.
Yes.
All right. So thank you so much, Kelly, for joining the show today. And I am so thankful that we had this time together. I'm really, really thankful. So until next week, be a blessing to someone each and every day. Share this show, would you? And go and download your free IAMs. God bless you.